So what is up, Click? This is another short video because WizKids just dropped a huge Silver Age announcement for us today. So we'll just go over some of the changes, some of the things I think are gonna be prevalent, and yeah, let's have fun. So they start off by saying that they wanted to make Silver a separate and distinct meta game where figures could flourish even after they rotated out of modern play. So that's really important because a lot of players really invest a lot of money in their modern figures, although we'll discuss that further later. And having them rotate out isn't really, the most fun thing. So they wanted to make it as distinct from modern as possible, but at the same time giving brewers and the players a lot of room for creativity. So one of the biggest changes is here. The build total is actually increased by 33% to 400 points. That actually makes a lot of figures more viable. Let's say a 300 point figure or a 200 point tentpole that you've been wanting to play but just didn't have the points to have support in. So it's a lot more possible now. And then this is really good for them. Half of the points, 200 points of a team's main force, must come from sets that are not modern legal. So what you want, they wanted us to make silver teams that are not just rehash of previous modern meta teams. So that's good to hear. And then for a mission point victory, 30 points must be scored instead of the normal 20. Probably that's because in the previous modern meta, we had a lot of teams that could actually score 20 points within like a couple of turns. So that's interesting to see the builds that are going to come out of that. So with that, when they made a list of temporary bans, I think they really emphasized this. These are going to be temporary. So we'll just go over them. The all black Necro Sword, that's true. It was really strong when it was modern, especially with the Prime Spider-Man and his knockback. The Apocalypse and the Genesis from Slop. They didn't want a lot of keyword cheating, especially if in Silver we're gonna have X-Men swap already legal. So Carnage Silver Surfer. So from what I am getting here, is that they are temporarily banning a lot of the hyper efficient figures, or the figures that were really like super played during their time in modern. So this includes Carnage Silver Surfer. Another efficient one is Sakarian Iron Man over here, Sky Tyrant, and Scarlet Witch. They also banned a bunch of the retail figures that are pretty strong. So like Dark Phoenix and Giant Girl. So they're trying to remove that. Especially Maggot and stuff like that. They're things that were really hyper efficient during their time, and especially here, this is a big one. Venom Magneto, really probably the best TKPs ever made. So they're temporarily banning it. So they also made a short watch list of things that they need to keep an eye out on. So this includes some of the mission point figures. Actually, almost all of the mission point figures we see here. Indigo 1. We have Kingpin, Prime, and some of the like Immortus. It didn't really feel super strong when it was in modern, but in Silver a lot of things are possible. Some of the tarot cards that really made mission points teams a lot stronger. And this is really an interesting thing here. Gamora, also the Prime Gamora, the Prime Ultron Pym. So they're really just watching out for some of the uh, mission point figures to see if they're really gonna get abused. They also made a couple of errata, so this actually makes a lot of difference here in Silver. So first is Jakeem Thunder. I wasn't playing when he came out, but from what I was reading and what I've heard from people is that he was one of the strongest pick a power figures back when he was in modern. So they had to scale him back. Now they're bringing him back to his normal power. So he's like He's a pretty strong figure, actually. I like him. So he comes at 140 points, I think, if I remember correctly. So now he's going to be one of the better pick a power figures, but at the cost of him actually taking up your prime slot. So that's a good trade off, I think. So you can see a lot of players, a lot of people dusting him off and playing him in the new silver. And along with that, also Goblin King, another pick a power figure that was pretty strong when he was in Modern. They're bringing him back. They're making him a little more powerful. So I think the reason with this is that actually for pick a power, Sakarian Iron Man was really one of the better ones. He was actually, I think, the best one. He was at 50 points, 55 with the cloak. He's really strong for his points. So these are similar types of figures, but are actually gonna get the hopefully their time in the sun come the new modern format that we have. So also some pick a power figures that are actually weren't mentioned here, but are might see play. And I think probably will see play is Unimind. He's really strong, especially if he is on his 300 point line. You have another 100 points of modern support figures, actually even silver figures, that can actually give him a boost. So that might actually be pretty good because he has great stats and great powers to come along with what he does. So also connected here, just going back. So they banned Scarlet Witch. So another figure that actually has access to the rune is actually Agatha. So that might be a pretty strong type of team because she's actually in silver now, so she doesn't really take up your modern slots for your points, and especially in a map that has a lot of hindering, like the Wakanda map, the new Wakanda map from Avengers 60. She has a lot of hindering terrain she can poof into, so that's something to consider. So also they have a couple of bans. So these are some of the things that they're quite emphasizing that these are probably permanent bans. So Molecule Man, sad that he had to go, but I can understand because his terrain manipulation was pretty strong, and not a lot of figures could compete, especially at that point line. So they also rehashed the ban list over here. And another notable thing here is that they actually unbanned Legacy Thanos over here. He was really good. He was actually banned initially during the previous silver announcement last year. So it's good to see him back. So he won't probably be as abusive, especially now with 400 points. So also here, another notable, like they didn't really unban him, is Scarab. Was actually really strong and had potential for abuse. So that's something interesting. So what do I expect people to build with now that Silver has its new format, his new type? So I am actually expecting first people to actually play around with Agatha because she's actually pretty good for her points. So she's 100 points in a 400 point match. That's actually just a fourth of your build. So I mean, they juxtaposing it to the previous 300 point formats. Switch actually also used up just a fourth of your build. So she'll probably be something that people build around, especially now. She has access to the same in the theme team. She has access to the new Blackheart from Wheels of Vengeance, so she has a lot of mobility, especially that with Blackheart, with Kazar, and I think that's gonna be something that a lot of people start with. Also, of course, since they really made them, they emphasize these two. So these are the two premier pick a power figures. So Goblin King and Jakeem Thunder. You'll see something around something like that. And also, so yeah, they also still banned all of the ID cards, so that's something that's worth noting. So there. So first of all, I'm thinking I'm probably gonna assume that an Agatha build will be something that people start with. Especially she has really good keywords, especially mystical. She has access to the Masters of Evil. She has the new Ghost Rider stuff, so that's something that a lot of people might be really interested in, especially now that she's the only rune that we have. Also, secondly, animals is actually something that might be interesting. So Lockjaw isn't. I don't think he is banned. So Lockjaw is still in the meta, although Maggot isn't in. An interesting animal that is actually an animal is the new Captain America on Pegasus. So that's something that people might, and I think will probably build with. So that's the second team. Also, yeah, the third team is probably a non-theme good stuff with just a bunch of pick a power figures. Like I can easily see Jakeem and Goblin King being on one team, and just having that flexibility. Just plug in a motorcycle or a hell cycle on each of them. It's probably something that a lot of people might be building towards. So that's also interesting. Um, Another thing that I might think that some old silver builds that weren't really affected by this is the old Gene Bomb team. It's actually a pretty good one. So the Gene from, I think that was the X-Men animated series, might be good. In terms of retail, off the top of my head, some really good ones are still. I think Magog is still legal. The Fulcrum Abominus is still legal. The Carnage, the 10 points from the Colossal Legacy card, that's actually still a pretty good one. So lots of things to build around. Groot from Avengers, the Colossal Groot could fit well in a Monsters team. So yeah, with that, I think that's a really good. Overall, I'm very happy with what they made, and I hope a lot of builds, a lot of creative builds. So we're going to be having our Silver Age tournaments very soon. And with that, thank you very much for your time. This has been the my thoughts on the Silver Age announcement. So hope to see you guys around in the tournament. And with that, thank you very much. Have a great day.